really worth doing it. Now, further to the latest developments, let's see now a strategic document, a document that is the foundation of Horizon Europe calls. Now, before discussing the strategic plan, it is important to understand one concept that for me is also further to what we discussed regarding the structure, also important, is bottom-up and top-down calls. Do you have any idea what is a bottom-up and what is a top-down call? Any ideas? Yeah? Top-down call is a call that the funder, European Commission, prescribes, so in other words, describes what exactly they want. I want that specific results. I want that specific benefits from those results. I want also those to be done with those objectives. They are very specific in the description of the call topic. On the other hand, and we will see which calls are these, on the other hand, we have calls that are flexible. Do you believe as an applicant that you have something that is of high scientific value? Prove that to me, what kind of results you're going to produce, what will be the benefits, and also how you're going to achieve that. So this is bottom-up. What does bottom-up means? It is up to the applicant to explain everything, all the specifications, the benefits, what type of results, what type of objectives. In a top-down call, it's the other way around. The funding agency, the European Commission, knows already very well what should expect from those calls. So that's the main difference. And why this is necessary, first of all? Because you remember, you can recall the structure of Horizon Europe before. Now what we have more or less where we have bottom-up and where we have mainly top-down calls. So for Pillar 2, which we have those 6 thematics, the European Commission already prescribes, has already detailed what is expecting from a funded project. I would like that kind of results, that kind of achievements, that kind of benefits, and actually I want them in that way. And I want you to involve that type of organizations, and in many cases, I want you to use the results of those previously funded projects. That specific they are. Yeah? Why? Because they know what they want. On the other hand, in a bottom-up call, like an ERC, or in some case in widening, or in Pillar 3, they say, I don't know what I want. I just want something that is a breakthrough. I just want something that will really help researchers to increase their capacity. Convince me that you can do that. Convince me what will the benefits if you can do that. So you see, now it is up to the applicant to describe this. And why it is important? It is important for 2 reasons. Because now we're going to talk about the strategic plan. The strategic plan mainly, if you can recall, gives the foundations of what should be the calls of the next 3 years. So we're going to have, now we had the second work program from 2023-2024. What is a work program? It's an official document that describes the funding opportunities for those years. Now, the next work program that will run from 2025 until 2027 will describe the funding opportunities for the next 3 years, what those will be. In order to provide a reason why we will have that kind of calls, why we have those calls in health, why we will have those calls in energy, why we will have those calls in space. They need a foundation document, a document that will show what we expect from Horizon Europe, what kind of achievements we expect, so then the calls can say, look, this is the strategy that you said to me, that's why we have that kind of calls. So in order to see the next 3 open funding opportunities, the European Commission needs, and the applicants, they need a foundation document. A foundation document that will describe what kind of achievements we expect to see by the end of 2027. These achievements, strategic achievements, they are elaborated in the strategic plan. Now, the strategic, we had already a strategic plan from 2021 until for 4 years until 2024, but it's about to finish. And now the European Commission says, okay, we had the strategic plan, we issued 2 work programs, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. Now, since people are looking eager for the next calls from 2025 until 2027, 25, 26, 27, we need a new strategic plan. So they come out with that. They want to show where the money of taxpayers go. You said before that the budget of Horizon Europe is 95 billion euros, close to 100. So we need to have a specific strategy, what we want to achieve with that amount of money. That strategy is outlined in the strategic plan. And now we're going to have the second strategic plan. Mainly, the strategic plan mainly is for Pillar 2, for top-down calls. Why? Why? Why is that? Mainly. But why is that? Because you have specific expectations that have already been formulated in the strategic plan. How you're going to achieve specific expectations? You need specific call descriptions. Yes or no? Where do we have specific call descriptions? In top-down calls. That's why the strategic plan is more applicable for Pillar 2. Because in Pillar 2, in top-down calls, you mention exactly what kind of achievements you want. These achievements have already been formulated or will be formulated in the strategic plan, in the strategy of Horizon Europe. As simple as that. However, and this is very important, I'm going to give you a tip, and you will see how you can use the strategic plan or the analysis. This is what we have so far. I will explain what that is. Also for bottom-up calls. I will explain, I will give you a tip on how you're going to exploit it. But for the time being, I want you to remember what is a bottom-up call, what is a top-down call, and where we have bottom-up calls and where we have top-down calls. Because that's important also in order to know how to exploit more efficiently the strategic plan that will soon be published. Clear so far? Any views, any questions? Okay. So, having said that, what do we have? For the time being, do we have the strategic plan? No. The strategic plan actually is under preparation, is being drafted. And we expect to have it by the end, or the final one, by the end of this year. Maybe a little bit later at the beginning of 2024. It is being drafted, but what we do have, and this is for me by far more important, is this document here, which is called the Strategic 2025-27 Analysis. What is this analysis? And it explains it very nicely here. Look, we use statistics. We use a foresight study. A foresight study is a future study, where what we can achieve in the future. We use feedback from citizens. We use some other activities. We use literature. We've seen what we have achieved so far with Horizon Europe. We use also some statistics also from Horizon Europe. We analyze them, we have analyzed them, and based on that analysis, we realize that we need to deal with some specific problems, and we have identified some policy priorities for that. We've seen how well we are in the landscape of research innovation in comparison with US, Japan, China. We need to know that. We've seen also what are the research innovation needs, in which areas we need to give focus from the research innovation point of view. We've seen also how Horizon Europe can address those needs in order also to boost, as we keep on saying, knowledge into solutions that can penetrate the market. So we have done that, and this analysis, all these are contained in the strategic plan analysis of 2025-2027. It's a long document. It is, I think, we will see more a little bit later, more than 160 pages. So it's a very, very long document, but it's more important than the strategic plan. The strategic plan, as soon as it's going to be finalized, is going to use those results, and I'm going to say, okay, the priorities that we want for the next 3 years to fund are this, in these areas. And then the European Commission will take those priorities and will prepare what? The work program, the funding opportunities. Based on the analysis that you said, based on the priorities, here are the funding opportunities that we're going to support. That's it. So more or less, what does that mean? Whatever you're going to see, whatever is in the strategic plan, it will be reflected, and in many cases copy and paste, where? In the work programs. The work programs are going to be more or less copy and paste of the strategic plan. What is a work program? Remind me again. What is a work program? What is the work program? It's an official document that describes what? The funding goals, the funding opportunities. So if you're interested to submit a proposal in Horizon Europe for the next 3 years, 2025, 2027, you need to read the work program. Do you need to read the strategic plan? No. You don't need the strategic. Why? Because it's going to be copy and paste already in the work program. However, what you need to read is the strategic plan analysis. And I will explain to you why, for many different reasons. And this is, for me, the most important slide that I want you to keep on that. First one, of course, it will identify research innovation areas that are of high importance for the European Union. So you need to know them. Why you need to know them? I'm going to give you a little bit tip on that afterwards. But you need to know them, one thing. Secondly, it allows potential applicants in Horizon Europe to prepare and focus on those areas before the publication of the calls. If you see that, for example, one of the key priorities from the analysis, strategic plan analysis, is that we need to cure Alzheimer disease. We need to cure them, not the symptoms of Alzheimer, but the causes of Alzheimer disease. And if you're active already in that area, you know that now you need to focus on that even more significantly. Why? Because there will be calls on that. So you establish now some partnerships. You establish now some synergies. Now you know that. You can do some preparatory work. So it's very important to identify those areas even before the publication of the calls. When these calls are going to be published, we're talking about the first calls that will be published will be when? Of the new strategic plan. What is the name of the strategic plan? Strategic plan. And then 25, 27. So the earliest ones are going to be in 25. But do you need to prepare as soon as they're published? No. You can start preparing now. Establishing synergies, contacting the universities from Horizon, from UK, finding out who else is active in those areas, contributing. Now is the best time to do that. Also, if you go through the strategic analysis, not the strategic plan, you will find extremely useful information regarding documentation. You will find some documentation related to problems in society or economical problems that the proposals have to address. You have a very nice rationale that you can use now. You can take nice knowledge from those documents, process them, and include that analysis in your application. Because when you're writing a grant application, you need to say why this solution is needed. Yes or no? You have to. So, in order to justify why this solution is needed, you need to focus on what? On problems. Problems that our society has, and problems that are an effect, a negative effect on that is ineconomy. How can you think about them? Or where can you have a very great starting point? Is from the strategic plan analysis. Not from the strategic plan, but from the strategic plan analysis. This is an excellent starting point to write your excellent section. You have very good evidence and justification with references. So it's also very important. Another one, and this is the tip that I promised to you. The strategic analysis, plan analysis, as we said, will identify also the key research areas that we need to give focus. Yes or no? They will. So what is a bottom-up? Bottom-up is an applicant comes and says, tell me why this solution, your proposal, is something that should be funded. So now, in a bottom-up, you have a very good starting point. What is that starting point? You see, look, the strategic plan analysis said that we need to focus in that area, maybe in rare diseases, I'm saying now, or in raw material sustainability, or in more efficient batteries. And now, if you are already active in that research area, what do you have? You have strong evidence from the strategic plan analysis that we need to give focus on that. So you convince the evaluators that your suggested research idea has a lot of potential. Not because you say it, but because the strategic plan analysis has it. Do you follow that? Because this is very important. And no one has thought of using the strategic plan analysis for bottom-up calls. Because as I said, strategic plan analysis or the strategic plan is for the top-down calls. But now, for the bottom-up, you have that kind of knowledge. So remind me, where can you use that knowledge? Which are the bottom-up calls? As we said, in which programs? Pillar 1, excellent, ERC, Marie Curie, maybe research infrastructures, in EIC, in Pillar 3, Pathfinder, transition, ERC excellent, widening also in the twinning actions, in the teaming. You didn't have that before, now you have it. And that's for me excellent starting point. You say to the evaluator, this is why you need to fund my proposal in the bottom-up. Because one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons is that this is what has been identified as a missing gap, and we need to give focus in research. And in addition, you will have also, if you find a focus, if you find a research focus from the strategic plan analysis that you want to target, you use that, you say that it's aligned with the strategic plan analysis, but also you have very nice evidence, socioeconomic challenges, why your proposal should address this, because it will give solutions to challenges, to specific challenges in society and in economy. So, remember that for me is the most important slide of the whole document. So these are the contents of the strategic plan analysis. I repeat, you have the link from your notes, but even if you Google strategic plan analysis 25-27, you will have downloaded. It was published in May 23. So we have that. We don't have the strategic plan, but we don't need the strategic plan. Whatever is going to be in the strategic plan will be also in the work program. But the background information is what we need for us, because it gives a lot of evidence. And you see that it is close to 200 pages, 181 pages. Now, the strategic plan normally is going to be around 100 pages. So these extra 80 around pages, where are we going to use them? Why we use them? This is the official documentation, supporting analysis, statistical data that we have, all these rationale that we can use in our proposal when we explain why our proposal should focus on those different challenges. We have already some great evidence from the strategic plan analysis. And you see it has 5 areas: the societal challenges and recent policies to address, the EU research innovation landscape, the possible new research needs and potentials arising, the potential of Horizon Europe to address important issues, and then how we're going to uptake the results and be more innovative. So this is what we have, and we're going to see briefly, not in detail, each one of them. I mean, it's impossible to go through this 180 pages. Of course, as a hands-on practice, as you will see, tomorrow you will have the choice to go through that and identify according to the research topics that you are interested, or your team is interested, or your university is interested. You are assigned to go through the analysis strategic plan and see what kind of document, what kind of evidence you can take out from that document, and what kind of reference you can use. So we go through section per section and just an outline, not in detail. So the first one is the societal challenge and recent policies to address them, what kind of problems we have and how we're going to address them. So these are the first section. Now you will see that there are some headings in blue that has nothing to do. It's just because it's a 3-level heading. So they decided to have heading 3 with blue, heading 1 and heading 2 with blank ink. Doesn't matter. So this is what they have. And I want you to go through some points or key challenges that the European Commission faces, and I would like to ask you which one you believe are quite significant. First of all, they realize that we need to be more autonomous and resilient to external incidents, external events. Maybe this is COVID, like the pandemic. Maybe this is a war that happens outside Europe. So we need to make sure that we are resilient on that. We need to make sure that we reduce our dependency, as we said, on critical raw materials. We cannot depend anymore on semiconductors coming out from China, for example. Or we cannot depend on materials or on expertise that we don't have in Europe. Maybe in AI, we don't have that kind of expertise. Maybe someone else has. AI is a very emerging trend. We don't want to depend on a workforce that is outside the European Union. That's something that they realize is the case. Also, they realize that it is important to engage citizens, not because they are also taxpayers, and because Horizon Europe is funded from taxes that taxpayers pay, but also because, and this is important for me, because if you engage citizens, then first of all, citizens start trusting science. You remember what was some negative movements regarding COVID-19 and the vaccines regarding COVID-19, and also to speed up the innovation process, the acceptance of disruptive innovation. So that's why we believe citizen engagement is important. And let me give you a tip here. When you're writing a proposal and you see that in the call funding it says you need to achieve citizen engagement, why don't you use also this? Why you need citizen engagement? Say, we are going to engage citizens in our proposal by talking to schools, for example, by having an ambassador going and visiting schools, or by having a specific exhibition in museums, in science museums or any other ideas, because we believe that such an engagement is critical to reinforce trust in your solution. So suppose that you deal with robotics, engagement is critical to reinforce trust in robotics, in AI, in your healthcare systems, in intelligence systems, and to facilitate and secure the innovation process take up of that. So you get also, you see from some sections here, what do you get? You get arguments for what? For your proposal. But just reading the statistic analysis. Also, another thing is that, okay, they have as a goal, every euro that is spent in Horizon Europe to be 11 times, to increase by 11 times the GDPs of the countries that are participating in 25 years from now. So we invested something like 100 billion euros. We expect that as a return of that investment in 25 years to receive 1.1 trillion euros, more or less. Yes? This is what we have. It's something like, okay, in 25 years, it's a long time from now. We don't know whether we will have that achieved, but it's something that they have as a policy requirement. And also, as I said, they want, we live in a global geopolitical system. What happens in US, whoever is a president in US affects Europe. Now in Ukraine, we've seen also what is going on with on Israel. So these things affect Europe in a global perspective, and we need to make sure that we are resisting, we are remaining resilient on all this turbulence that takes place outside our borders. And also this is a requirement. And also we need to make this a requirement in the public consultation. We need to make sure that the strategic plans, so the calls of 25-27, are giving focus on key enabling technology. We're going to see some of them. And also the strategic plan is simpler. It was talking about impact category A, impact category B, which was a little bit confusing. So that's why they don't want to see that in the next version of the strategic plan. So these are the key points from and challenges and policies that the calls in Horizon Europe should give focus from 2025 to 2027. Get those as a hint because it will be useful for you whenever you're writing a proposal to see whether it addresses any of those key challenges. Any questions on that you would like to ask? No? You're starting getting. All right. Now, you see here some examples. This is an extract from the analysis strategic plan of the most important R&I solutions that they believe a strategic plan should give focus. This is the result from a consultation that took place. And what they had, I'm not going to go through them, but it's important for each area, health. Remind me, health also in Pillar 2 is which cluster? Cluster 1. So these are key topics that they would like to give focus. Aging population, elderly care, also that part of health where they need to give focus. Energy, which cluster is that? 5, where they need to give focus. Then we have climate cluster, which cluster is that again? 5, things, what we expect to see as focus. Food, which cluster is that one? 6, again, some focus that we expect to see. Circular economy, 6, very good, where we expect to see some. Digitalization, 4, yes. Yes, of course it is a vertical one, but we see it mainly in a cluster 4. Also, advanced technologies, where do we see them? Again, in cluster 4. Societal issues, where do we see them? Which cluster? 2. It's mainly societal issues in 2, but and where we want to see them. So you see now, for each one of those clusters apart, we've missed one, which is cluster 3, which is security. We see at least the priorities that should be identified. So that's a very interesting starting point. Because if you're dealing with any of those topics, you or your researchers, then you have a very good advantage to be part of proposals, either initiating them as coordinators or as partners. You need to start working on that even from now, establishing partnerships, because you will see that kind of calls in the upcoming calls from 2025. And so the next section of the research analysis strategic plan is the EU research innovation landscape within a global perspective. Again, these are the table of contents. Okay, let me highlight some key things. First of all, they realized that the EU, the European Union, lags behind the United States, Japan, and China. It depends on how much they spend from as a percentage to the gross domestic product. So how much they spend in research and development. Yes. They are coming as fourth. First United States, Japan, and then China. So they don't like that. They see that other countries, they spend more than European Union as overall. We need to do something. Also, something that they realized is by 2022, they've seen that the amount of publication that is published from European scientists is not anymore as it was before the number of 1. European Union in 2018, she was the number 1 producer of the scientific output. Now they are second, first of all. China is the first one. And where they are even worse is regarding the most highly ranked publications, so the top 1% most cited ones, they see that they're becoming third. China and the United States are the first 2 ones, so they don't want that. They want to change that. So this is another challenge that they have to address, and we will see that in the new strategic plan. As a remark, the EU, we can say that specializes more in humanities, while the United States in the health technologies and China in digital technologies. What does that mean? In the number of publications. So we see that the largest number of publications that we have, most of the ones that are coming from the European Union are in humanities, and the other countries have in other technologies. Regarding the patents, before it was United States that was number one. Now we have a new player in patents. Who is that player? That is a big one now. China. China is, yes. You see that China has reached its getting higher and higher. And now is second one. United States still remains the first one, but we had China, and then we had EU coming third. It's something that they have to think of, and because competition is not anymore at the European level, it's at the global level. That's why we need to take that into consideration. Also, the widening gap is quite large. We have high research performing countries, regions in the European Union, but low research performing regions in the European Union. That has to change. So we expect more and more calls for the widening, more and more budgets. So this is important. Turkey, as we discussed this morning, is part of the widening actions. So we expect more budget within Horizon Europe to go in widening actions. And also we have experienced a brain drain in EU overall. We've seen researchers moving outside the EU. We've seen many of them moving to United States, for example. And we don't want that. So we need to find a way how we can offer more competitive salaries, yes, other benefits, tools, infrastructure that you can use, a fair and ethical promotion, how to promote a researcher as soon as they are efficient. So all these things, don't think that these are only cases at a national level, for example, in Turkey or for Greece or for other countries. This is an EU problem. So they realize that. So this, I think, something very promising that we start realizing that, because we need to work on those. So this is how EU is doing with respect to other global players. And I think that's also very interesting for you to know and, of course, to address. And the second one is possible new research needs and where we can give focus. So that's the third section. We've seen that we have, of course, the Green Deal also, but we see that EU is really a leader in the green transition. But we are not doing that well with the digital deal, the digital transformation. China and US are doing much better from the digital transformation point of view, okay? We've seen also that China is actually becoming more and more a bigger player in the net zero emissions. So we've seen more patents also coming out regarding the net zero emissions, something that was not the case. You remember China was not that focusing on a green deal things. They were focusing more on digital transformation, but now they realize if they want to have what? If they want to have Europe as a client, they need to sell products that they respect Green Deal. So this is why that happens. You've seen now China saying, we're going to keep European Union as one of our main clients. So we need to make sure that we are producing solutions that are respecting the green transformation. So that's why we have more and more patents of that. We're going to exploit that, because since European Union wants to be emission-free by 2030, that means that they need to have solutions that they respect the net zero principle. Let's offer them that kind of solutions. So we need also to see how we can stop being dependent on China. Let's put it that way. So we have that. Of course, we've discussed the Net Zero Industry Act plan, and that is part of the Green Industrial Plan. Okay. Also, we expect to have better application of the circular economy principles, zero waste. making sure that nothing goes waste. Whatever we produce, either it becomes zero emissions or it can be reused. This is the concept of circular economy, and we have now calls in cluster 6 for that. Also, we've seen that already, but you see that keeps on coming. We need to make sure that we are not depending on events, or we are resistant on events that even take place outside Europe, like the pandemic or health threats, climate risks. You see now that we had a lot of incidents that we had a lot of flooding, for example, in Greece because of those climate changes. Also, we might expect to have not that many natural resources. We don't know what will happen with the water reserves, for example. And some cases, we don't want to have dependencies on critical raw materials. So these are things that are popping up. We need to make Europe independent on as much as possible, or resilient on something that happens outside Europe. Okay, so we need to have that. Another thing that we keep on seeing in calls, it is the multi-actor approach. What is the multi-actor approach? You see that in calls already in Horizon Europe. What is the multi-actor approach? Huh? Any ideas? This is very important, actually. What is the multi? I will repeat that. Yes, that was too late. Yes, I will.
It means that including different specialists, sorry,
yes.
from different backgrounds, different experience, such as from farmers to policy developers, researchers in lab, and so on.
Exactly. Thank you for that. So it means that we don't want anymore only researchers or innovators. We want also end users. We want also policy makers. We want policy advisors. We would like all the different actors that are part of the value chain to be in our consortium, in projects. Now, what was before, you were seeing just some big research names being part of the consortium, and that was enough for receiving some funding. Well, this is not enough anymore. They realize that if we want to create an impact in society, you need to involve all the actors that are in society. You need to involve researchers, end users, policy makers, policy advisors. So we want that multi-actor approach. And it's so important that in some calls, it is actually mentioned that you want to follow the multi-actor approach. Of course, they expect to see that in as many proposals as possible, but in many calls, they say it is a requirement. If you don't have that, there is no way that you're going to have a proposal above the threshold. It's going to be below the threshold. That important that is. And also, they realize that we need to have the involvement of public organizations, especially local public organizations in proposals. So this is also a tip for you. Whenever you're initiating a proposal, try to have regional authorities, local authorities, part of your consortium. Do they need to be part of your, with funding? In many cases, no, because the easiest way to involve them is as associate partners. What is an associate partner? An associate partner is a partner that joins the consortium. They don't have any legal obligations against the European Commission. However, they are highly interested in the project results. So that's why they're participating as associate partners. They are mentioned in the proposal. And one tip that I can give you is that the more local public authorities you have in your proposal, the higher are the chances of your proposal being accepted. Not because it is required from the strategic plan, but because also it's common sense, because you're talking about to have as many actors as possible present. The associate partnership substitutes what you used to have, if you can recall, the ones that you can recall from the previous funding program, the letter of support. In many cases in the past, we used to annex, along with our proposal, letters of support, saying, from stakeholders saying, we're highly interested in these project results, we're looking forward to them, and we can contribute as much as possible. to see those results being implemented. Now we don't have that anymore. We cannot annex anything during the online submission form. So the European Commission says, if you want, we don't want any more letters of support. Prove that to us that you have that kind of network being interested in our solution, so you can involve them as associate partners. So have them in your proposal, not only because it is part of what is needed. Here is what is needed in Horizon Europe calls. And you see here that these are some emerging digital technologies that are mentioned in the statistic analysis, and they're looking for that. So we have photon and electron triangle, DNA-based digital data storage, alternative approaches to quantum computing, AI-based local digital twins, space technologies, 2D materials, sustainable electronics, next generation computing device architectures, and chip scale frequency comps. So these are, some of them I'm aware, some of them I'm not aware, but people that are working already in any of those areas, you understand now that you are in a hot topic, because these are hot topics that we see them. And if you are even submitting a bottom-up proposal and you are active already in any of those research areas, then you definitely need to take advantage of that and use it in your proposal, saying that our proposal is one of the ones that have been identifying as emerging, for example, digital technologies in the strategic plan analysis 2025, 2027. Convince the evaluators that you are in a hot topic. Number 4, that we have, okay, these are the table of contents. Now, these are, okay, some statistics. We discussed already some of them. I don't know whether you recall. 71 of the high-quality proposals are not receiving funding. So that means that more or less 2 out of 3 proposals are not receiving funding, even though they deserve to receive funding. This is what it means. So that means that we need additional 34 billion. So remember what I said to you. This is the biggest reason that we want synergies. A proposal that suggests to cooperate with other funds is going to have by far more acceptance chances than any other, because we want that kind of synergies. Okay, we've seen the number. We have more than 45,000 proposals have been submitted so far, and we had more than 236 funding opportunities open. So almost half of them were of high quality. What does of high quality means? Remind me. They were above the threshold. Exactly. Very good. And in Horizon 2020, it was lower. It was 46%. So it's quite significantly higher. The success rate of the proposal has been higher for Horizon Europe. Okay, it is close to 16% versus to 12% that it was in Horizon 2020. Okay, we've discussed about something that I don't know whether you can recall. It was the commitment of Horizon Europe to spend 35% of the budget to go to climate-related actions. So far, we have something like close to that. We have 34. So they are more or less according to that target. So climate-related actions, you will see, are quite popular. 1/3 of the total budget in Horizon Europe goes to climate actions. Of course, we need to have synergies, as I said, with other EU funding programs in order to exploit these good proposals that are not getting funding, of course. And also, for me, from all this, I really like this thing here, these tables, 16 to 21, that they show in each one of those 6 clusters which areas are essential, but they haven't been addressed yet. So the funding opportunities that we expect to see in the funding, in the work program of 2025, 2027 is going to be based on those tables. We have those tables here just to have a very quick look. Thank you. So you see here, so we have for cluster one, because I've told you the strategic plan is for the top-down calls, but you can use them also for the bottom-up, for the top-down, for health. You see here the potential gaps. Yes. Prenatal, neonatal, maternal, and paternal health haven't been sufficiently covered. We expect to see them in the new calls. Also, monitoring and planning, implementing rehabilitation. Environmental risk factors on occupational involvement. Health consequences of climate change. We haven't seen these things. So these things will be, and we can scroll down. Can you scroll down slowly? So we see them per areas. So please, for me, it's very important, depending on the area that you are involved, to check these tables. So table 16 is for the health. Table 17 is for, is for creative, is for cluster 2. Further down, you see we have a lot of gaps here. Stop here. So we have for cluster 2, what we expect to be addressed in the calls of 2025, 2027. We have them. Go down. There's a lot of different things. Thank you. Go a little bit down. Then we have for cluster 3, as what we still haven't addressed here. So these are potential gaps. For me, this is the most important column that we have for all the tables. Then table 19 is for digital transformation. I'll go a little bit down. So we have a lot of things. And you see we have table 19 in different areas: manufacturing technologies, space technologies, digital technologies. What hasn't been addressed? Expect anything that, everything that is on that column to be in the future funding calls. Yes, Ali, one question? Oh, Ali.
Hello, Nicholas, I have one question about these tables and gap analysis. So is this like when bottom-up someone applies and kind of matches with these gaps? Do we assume, or EU assumes, that these gaps are partly or fully filled or not? So what is the relation between bottom-up gaps and then top-down gaps? Like what happens if I apply as a bottom-up, and also it coincides with the top-down calls? So what is the relation of these gaps and intersections?
Okay, thank you for that, Ali, because it allows me to give a clarification. First of all, these gaps are for the top-down calls. Why? Because they are for clusters. And as we discussed, clusters are top-down calls. But there is one peculiarity with top-down calls. And what is that peculiarity? Top-down calls, which means pillar 2 calls, I haven't talked about that, but Ali gave me the opportunity to talk about that, and thank you. It deals with solutions of specific technological maturity. What does that mean? That means in pillar 2 calls, you don't start from zero. You start from, you have already done something in the past, and now you start, maybe you have already conducted some experiments, the first experiments in the lab, so you have already some preliminary evidence. So this is your starting point in pillar 2, up to the point that you test it with some pilot users. Normally, all the clusters, they have as a starting point something that has been developed already in the lab, up to the point that they test it with some users, either a limited number of users or a big number of users, depending on your, as they keep on saying, technological readiness levels. Who is familiar with TRLs, technological readiness levels? Many of you. Very good. So TRL levels in top-down call are, since you know, is from TRL 3 up to TRL 6, in some cases 7. We have, because as you do know, we have two in a top-down call. So in pillar 2 class, we have mainly two types of actions: research innovation actions, where the focus is on research. So your starting point is normally TRL 3 or TRL 4, and you expect to finish by the end of the project 2 TRLs higher, so by TRL 5 or TRL 6. And in innovation actions, which is also part of pillar 2, you expect to start something between TRL 5 or 4 and expect to finish at 6 or 7 TRL. So what does that mean? That means for mainly in a top-down call, you are working on those TRLs. In a bottom-up call, you are working in most of the cases, not in all the cases, in lower TRLs. So you work with basic research. So we've seen which are the bottom-up calls. We've seen that is, for example, ERC. In ERC, you're saying, or in Marie Curie actions, mobility actions, you are going to select some of those topics, but you're going to work in a lower TRL. You're saying you're going more or less to start experimentation now. Maybe you have very limited knowledge on what you have been doing with some limited number of experiments, but you know you're going to have more experiments. You're still working in a lower TRL. You're still working in a basic research level, not in an applied research level as it is with the clusters. So that's the main difference. But one complements the other. For a top-down call, you expect to see funding calls, open calls, that are dealing with all these different thematics. In a bottom-up call, you don't have something like that, but you use it. You say, yes, but I'm going to have basic research in those areas. For example, in human-centered technology, Industry 5.0, including social science and humanities. Why? Because this hasn't been addressed yet. And it is aligned with the strategic plan. Actually, the strategic analysis plan that we have. The strategic plan is not ready yet, but you don't need it. This is what you need. Okay, thank you, Ali, for that, because that helped me to clarify it a little bit, or to confuse, because some of you might not be familiar with TRLs, that is technological readiness level. But remember, basic research bottom up, applied research is top down. Maybe that is better. All right? Okay, good. So we see that, so you can go a little bit down on that and see. So for all the class, I'm not going to go through that now because you will have a hands-on practice to experiment and identify the research areas. But you see that, of course, we have a lot of gaps in digital, in ICT, in cluster 4. Why? Because it has a lot of different thematics. So you see a lot of the gaps have been identified. And that's a very excellent target point for you. And then we have 20 is cluster 5, and table 20 is cluster 5, and table 21 is cluster 6. And that's it. These are very important tables. So either for bottom up or for top down. It gives you where you need to focus or where you should be focusing, either in pillar 2 or in pillar 3 or pillar 1 calls. So we have them here. Okay, I need to, that's okay, we can go back. So you got the message. What is your homework? Your homework is a hands-on practice to check which tables. Remind me, tables 16 to 21, exactly. And we have a task also on that, because tomorrow you're going to select which task you're going to get involved. So that's important. These are the most important tables from the whole strategic plan. And the last one, okay, it says some key points. Yes. First of all, these are, we give a lot of emphasis on innovation. So that's why we have key innovative communities and clusters, and the EAT for working on that to deal with some innovative solutions and educate startup organizations how to take advantage of those innovations. Standardization is something that it is underestimated the value in Horizon Europe. We don't see the use of that many standards. However, we have to. Why we have to? Think a little bit. If you want to penetrate the market, for example, if you want to penetrate the US market, you need to comply with some FDA regulations, standards. So how can you be innovative and penetrating those markets if you don't comply with some standards? If those standards do not exist, then you might need to think creating those standards. This is something that is addressed from the strategic plan analysis and also highlighted here. Also, we need to have citizens engagement or citizen science. I will take you here. They say that very nicely. We need to involve end users, citizens, in the co-designing, what co-designing means, in developing what kind of research activities we need to develop, the research agendas. We need to involve them in creating together the research results. And of course, we need to make sure that we co-assess, which means that they are part of getting feedback and probably in the decision-making system of our research results. So a nice, for me, what I understand from this element is that you need to have citizens, a nice way to have citizens, and part of the co-design, co-creation, and co-assessment is what? To have them in your project as advisory board. In your project, you can involve as part of your governance structure a board that advises the project on different elements. Some members of that advisory board could be citizens or citizen individuals, maybe not individuals, but what? Representatives of citizens, associations that reflect, consumer association. I'm giving you an example. There is a European consumer association that is called ANEC, that deals with standardization for consumers. Involve them as members of your advisory board. You see now how many tips you can get out by seeing the strategic analysis points that have been identified. Another one, open access. Yes, this is also important. We see that we have the European Open Science Cloud as part of the research infrastructures. We see also that the Marie Curie Sklodowska actions support open science practice. It is important to support them, not because it is required, because now it is required to have open access, but, and because it is in the strategic plan, but I want you to think one level more. What is that level? Why we have, and I want you to think about that, why we give our results under open access? Why? Give me some ideas. And I want these ideas to be in your proposals. Why we have results under open access? Why? Of course, because it is required by the Horizon Europe and by the strategic plan. But another reason, even more convincing, why we want our results to be under open access. I will repeat that because we want them to be accessible to the public, yes. And why we want that? And to be accessible by the society and by the industry, yes. So one thing is, first of all, and I will use that, to open the floor for new discoveries. So instead of the industry and some other researchers repeating the work for running a survey or running experiments in the lab, we give those results. So you don't have to repeat that. We save effort. And not only that, we save you money. You don't have to do that. You take the results and you use the results for your own solution. One thing is that. So it opens the floor for new discoveries in a cost-efficient way, because others do not have to pay for conducting those results. And also, it promotes transparency and credibility of the research results. If you provide something openly available, what does that mean? That means that, because you know, sometimes we have some incidents that you manipulate the research results in order to get an outcome that you believe that that should be the outcome. Now, this is not the case anymore with open access. You give that transparently so anyone can check your results. So that's why what I want you is, when you are writing a proposal, when as IMS supporting others to write a proposal, highlight to them, we are going to offer those results under open access. And in parentheses, you're not going to write that. Not because the European Commission or the strategic plan requires, but because we want to promote transparency and credibility of our research results, as well as to open the floor of new discoveries from third parties. That's it. Immediately you create by far more higher impact than before. All right. Okay. And I think we are running a little bit out of time, but yes, this is what we're going to have as another optional, and we're finishing under day 2. So I want you to study the analysis and identify, based on your research interest, some useful documents, some useful statistics, missing but essential research topics, and reflect how to use them in a bottom-up calls and not like ERC, Marie Curie, EAC, or widening. Not necessarily in a top-down, straightforward. You're going to use them because they're going to be required in the specific top-down call. But I want you to think how you can use them also in bottom-up calls. So that will be a task for tomorrow, one of the tasks that you have to choose to work on. All right. Any questions on that? Anything else? So what I want you to keep from the strategic plan analysis. Do we have the strategic plan yet? Yes or no? The strategic plan? No. When do we expect to have it? By the end of this year, hopefully, but we don't care. Why we don't care? Because the strategic plan exactly is going to be copy and paste in the funding programs. What we do care is the strategic analysis. Why? Because we can get what? Excellent statistics, excellent notification and documentation, excellent references. Prepare ourselves about the most trending research topics. We have them now, and also the rationale behind them. Why we have those. So that's a very powerful tool that you can start working now and doing what? Either you as IMS is what? Informing your researchers. If you see that some researchers in your universities are active in those research topics, you need to contact them now. Encourage them to have a more thorough look in Horizon Europe expected goals and establish synergies. Okay, so I think it's time for lunch. Yes? So sorry for that small delay. I talked a little bit more than needed, but I had to talk about some essential things. So we have the break. I think the lunch is downstairs in the restaurant area. Celine, the lunch is downstairs, ground floor. Perfect. So what time we come back? In 1/4. Or how much time do you need? Yes? 1/4. Okay. 1/4 2. Okay, 2:15. Let's be back because we have a lot of things to cover and a lot of interesting things with Odysseus after that. We forget the policy and we discuss about practical tools. Okay. Your nice lunch downstairs. Please take your seat so we can start. So now what we have seen so far is we've seen some political documents, we've seen some changes that we have in Horizon Europe. You see where you can use those political documentation that we have so far for supporting others, for your own research. And now we're going to see some more practical and by far more interesting things. As Odysseus, we're going to show you, we're going to see how you're going to use an overview of the free tools that the European Commission has for you, the Cordis, the Horizon, and the Funding and Tenders Portal. And then we're going to talk about some really artificial intelligence tools that will make your job easier for planning and managing European funding projects. So pay attention, because tomorrow what you learn here is going to be applied in the hands-on practice. All right. Now, before going through that, do you have any questions from the morning session? Everything is clear? Yes? Okay, so the floor is yours, Odysseus.
Thank you, Nikos. Yes. Okay. Welcome back. I see a few people are missing. Yeah, we shouldn't make them. Okay. Okay, I promise I won't be, I won't take, I won't make your life that difficult. So we have two sessions. One is about the EU digital tools. This is something that we have talked about before. So this is not completely new. You should know already about that. However, I'm going to talk about these tools with a twist. So how you can combine their use and also try to use them in addition or with some AI powered tools. And then we have a presentation about AI. So what tools are available? In general, we have three kinds of tools. Okay, we have tools that will help you to find programs and calls, tools and portals and websites that will help you dig deeper into your data, add some statistical analysis, find numbers and so forth, and tools that can help you find partners. There is not one tool that does everything. You have to combine them. So in programs and calls, the main tool that you are going to use in throughout your experience with Horizon Europe is, of course, the funders, the EU funding and tender portal. The idea here was that they would like to combine everything and bring both tenders and calls in one single portal. You will be able to find here calls not only from Horizon, but also from other funding mechanisms of Europe. So you will be able to find Erasmus, you will be able to find external action, EU for health, the Europe Direct, Digital Europe, of course, everything is in here. Then the second tool that we are going to talk about is, of course, Horizon Results Dashboard. So Horizon Results Dashboard is a very interesting tool because, as Nico said, it can give you insights. I don't know if you can, no, leave it here. I don't know how clear you can see that, but this is just, yes, this is just a screenshot. So the dashboard is dynamic. I agree. It's not the best tool that you can find. It's based on Click. It was an application that was extracting data from databases and presenting them in dashboards like this one, but this is what we have. So you can see here that you can search by any of these, no, don't click it, it will not do anything, by any of these columns. So you can limit the program, for instance. The program is the framework program 9, the Horizon Europe that we have now, but there are data from FP1, I think. Definitely for FP7, for Horizon 2020. So you can just focus on Horizon Europe, or you can go back in the past. In country name, you can focus in the country, in your country, or you can focus in the country that you are interested in. If you are looking, for instance, who are the key players in a particular field, then this dashboard will help you identify. If you are looking for a country group, let's say 2 or 3 countries together, you will also be able to get some data about that. Or an organization type. Organization type is a type of the company or the organization. Is it a public organization? Is it a private company? Is it industry? Is it an SME? By filtering, you get results that will be more meaningful and will help you identify what you're looking for. Okay. Now, Find partners, yes. Finally, we have Cordis, and Cordis will help you see who has succeeded in gaining projects in the past, and which these projects are. So if you go to this website and you start looking for calls, looking for keywords, then you will get a lot of results related with what you are looking for, and you will be able to filter. We will see how. Okay, close that. Let's go. So let's explore a scenario, and probably you will be asked to do that scenario tomorrow. Say that you would like to submit a proposal or collaborate or work in a certain proposal under a call, whatever a call that might be. And you need to know which other companies are there, who are the players, the key players in this field. Have they succeeded in the past? What kind of projects they have submitted? What kind of projects are currently implemented? So first of all, you go to the funding and tender portal. I think you can click in the image, Celine. Yes, you go to funding and tender portal. I was looking for I think it's Green Deal. Okay, you look for Green Deal. The analysis of the picture is fine, so I will tell you how you can navigate to this presentation by yourselves. It's developed in another tool. It's just the projector that does not allow you to see clearly. So we look for Green Deal and we see that there are plenty of open calls here. Okay, we can identify one or more calls that we would like to search for. Close that. Let's say we have found it. Okay, and then we go to Cordis. Now we know the keywords. Okay, what do? You find the call, you go inside the text of the call, and you look for keywords. You take these keywords and you feed them into Cordis. Okay, Green Deal. I used a very generic one because I wanted to have a lot of results. But even so, with this very generic term, Green Deal, you get something like 383 results. It's not that bad. Of course, these are only from Horizon Europe, not Horizon 2020. But it's okay because they are the most recent ones. You don't necessarily, you're not interested in finding results from 10 or 15 years earlier. And then the same way that you can filter in funding and tender portal, you can filter here. So you can specify the program. So we want to limit our search to Horizon Europe. If you don't, it gives you something like 6,000 results. That's what it gave me yesterday. So program only Horizon Europe. I think this is enough to give you an idea. Horizon Europe is already there for more than 3 years, so you will get a lot of results. Now, another thing that I did is I also selected as a start date, an end date, all projects that will end between now, so September 2023 and December 2027. Why did I do that? Any ideas? Any ideas? Projects that will be finishing from now till 2027. Why would I need to look at these projects? No? Those companies are working currently on projects. Okay? Currently. It's an approach. I'm not saying it's the best approach, but the fact that they are working currently on projects means that they are active. Okay? You can follow a similar approach and say, look for companies that look for projects that have finished the last year. In any way, you should try to develop some rules that make sense in your scenario and work on these rules. Otherwise, the results will be so many that you won't be able to process them. So my argument here is that I want to find projects that are current, have not finished yet, or if they have finished, they will be finishing now. Okay. So if you take into account that the next calls will be sometime in April, that means that a lot of these projects will be still on. All of these projects will still be on. So when I try to contact them, they will already have experience, or they will either be finishing or they will be somewhere in the middle of their project. The chances are that they would like to do something more. Okay. You can filter in from other fields as well, but I think that your argument should be based around subjects and chronology of the projects, depending, of course, on what you are looking for. Okay.
I know that Codis changed their filtering mechanism as well as the funding and tenders portal. Personally, what I find difficult, and I think it's very useful, is to know not only those projects that are under Green Deal and under those dates, but also if there are collaborative projects like research, innovation actions. Is there something like that, a filter like that, that allows me to filter out, to filter in only those projects that are RIAs or EAs instead of ERC, Marie Curie, or EIC?
I think there is. I can't remember if it is under Project EU contribution or call ID, but what you can do is, if you are looking for particular calls, the calls specify if it is research and innovation or innovation. So if you have in mind past calls, you can even further limit that by using the call ID. So you can use the call ID and look for specific calls that were research and innovation actions or innovation actions. The more you narrow it down, the better results that you will get. And it is better if you can compartmentalize. So you say, let's look for these 3 calls that are relevant to the call that I am targeting. So you find the 3 calls from the past, the 3 calls from 2023 or 2022 or 2021. Chances are that the names are similar. You do 3 or 4 or 5 searches and you get, let's say, 15 results in each search. Okay? It is better that way because the results that you will get will be more of higher value, because you will be looking only for that particular calls that and types of instruments that you want to find. In here, you get 383 results, but you will have to manually go one by one and identify which is interesting and which is not. It doesn't take more than 1 to 2 hours, but still it's a lot. It makes more sense to use more narrow criteria and create groups of projects that may be more helpful in what you're looking for. Tomorrow, when you will be using it, we can work on different scenarios. Okay, so think about that and think about how you can use it when you need to find relevant projects. Click out. Okay, then extract the information. Okay, so once you know the calls, you do your search, you get some results. Now you want to extract them. You want to take them out from Cordis, because if you leave them there, you have to go again one by one, click, click, click, click, and you need to do that by yourself. Okay, you can extract them in CSV format. CSV is readable by Excel. So what you get a nice table with the title, the description of the project, the ID of the project, everything that you need. Now, what do you do with that Excel? Let's go to the next one, please. Yeah. Okay. And so here comes Bing. I wasn't a big fan of Bing, but then at some point Microsoft incorporated ChatGPT in Bing, so you can use it for search. And what did I do here? I took the project acronym and the title, okay? These projects, 10 projects, the 10 most relevant projects that I could find. I extracted them in an Excel file, I copy-paste the Excel, the columns of the Excel file, and pasted them here. Okay? And then I asked for the above projects to look for a website and a contact person. Okay? This is something that so far I was doing manually. I was trying to search by the name, by the website. I was trying to find the website. From the website, I was trying to find who was responsible, who was the contact person, which university or organization he or she belongs to. Try to find some papers that may have been published throughout their academic career, or find other affiliations. And sometimes it took me maybe half an hour to locate an email, okay? Locating this person in LinkedIn, then from LinkedIn trying to message it. So remarkably, this search gave some results. Go to next one. This is the results. These are the results. Okay. Now, be careful. Not all names are correct. These are people, indeed. These are researchers. Somehow, one way or another, affiliated with the institution or the project. But, as we will see in the next presentation, AI is still inventing some results. Okay. So this doctor, I can't read her name, Dr. Judith here, yes, has some relation with one of the institutions that participates in this project, but it's not necessarily the coordinator. Okay. Or maybe has no relation with that particular project, but is the coordinator of one of the organizations in another project. In any case, it gives you a start. From what I checked, more than half actually, of the names were correct. Okay? So it is reliable up to a point, but it is a start. It is something that you can help you, and through that you can dig a little bit deeper. Now, what's the catch? The catch is, can you go to the previous slide? Click, yes, here, yes. Okay. Now, we'll see in the next presentation that there are 3 conversation styles: creative, balanced, and precise. If you look by precise, it will return nothing, because the system is not sure about anything. Okay? You want precise, you get 0 results. With balanced, you get about 3 or 4 results. But creative results gives you more. It gives you more results, but not necessarily 100% correct. Do you have any similar experience of something like that when you were using AI? No? Every result that gives you is 100% correct? No, because I tried to look myself up, and it told me that I'm somebody else. Okay? The free, this is Bing. Yeah, this is the free version. It's free anyway. No, no, no. This is a web. Everything is the web. Bing. Yes, you need to download the browser. Yeah. Yes. Now, this is the new problem now. You cannot just use one browser because Bing works, ChatGPT works with Bing. I mean, Bing search works with Edge. Edge is the browser of Microsoft. Bard, which is the Google AI, works with Chrome. And then you have Claude, which works with everything. Yes, yes, okay. So, in addition to the tools that I have just showed you, there are also other portals that you can use, like the IPR help desk. The first two, the IPR help desk, is where you will find all information related to IP issues. They have publications, they have presentations, they have templates, non-disclosure agreement templates, memorandum of understanding templates. So they have all a lot of information that will be very useful for you. Go back, Celine. Yes, yes. Now, EU IPO. When you are working with the intellectual property of your project, even at the proposal stage, it will be good to say that you have an IP framework. What is an IP framework? It's what tools are you going to use in order to protect the IP that the project will create. Okay, the easy one and the one that everyone talks about is patents, but patents is very difficult. Okay, and not everything is patentable. So you need to acknowledge that, and you need to say that, okay, it's in addition to patents or instead of patents, there are trademarks, designs, there are trademark designs. Go to the other one. No, that's it. These are things that you can register here, and of course there are things like the corporate secrets that you can use and describe in your agreements. As long as you describe them, it shows that you have thought about that. Okay? Now, if you have a design or if you have a trademark, you can also register it here. And the costs of registration are also eligible for your project. And then you have Eurostat for all the statistical data that you may need in your project. Okay, back. EU Open Data Portal, this is a new one. This is a portal where European Commission would like to concentrate all open data that are developed by the projects so that you can reuse them, you can create derivatives with them, you can create new research, and everything can be collected here. Yes. Then we have the publications office. If you are looking for a report, if you are looking for a research that has been published, you will find it here. Just write the name and you will find it here. And finally, we have, no, this is one. What else? Yeah, the Open Science Cloud. This is also new. And the Open Science Cloud will include the tools, will include the results, will include again data, repositories, databases from your projects, from your research. This is new. This is something that has been launched, I think, a few years ago, and how you're going to use these tools should go to the data management policy from the proposal stage. Okay, So you need to prove, you need to show that you have a good understanding of these tools. You are going to implement them into your proposal, into your project, and you are going to use them in the best way possible. Go back, I think that we have missed something. No, not this one. Go back, a little bit up, up. No. Okay. We have seen this example. Yes, okay. This is what I was looking. Searching for results. Yes. Okay. Now, Cordis is not the only repository of results. Okay. Unfortunately, not everything is in Cordis. Cordis has the framework programs. So framework program 1 to framework program 9. If you are looking for Erasmus, if you are looking for maritime funding, for LIFE, for Creative Europe, you will not find it there. It's not there. It's not in Cordis, unfortunately. Okay? So from projects and results, you need to find what you are looking for, and from that, you will need to go to that particular website. So here in projects and results, we have everything related to Horizon, to FP programs. Dashboard, results platform, booster, success stories, Cordis. These are dedicated to Horizon projects. Creative Europe, they offer a downloadable XLS, so you can see the projects that are related to Creative Europe. Why is Creative Europe relevant, you may ask? It's not relevant to all the pillars, but it may be relevant to some pillars, especially through social sciences. So you may need to have a look. And of course, you may need to have a look in order to create synergies. Erasmus Plus, for instance, they expect to see synergies between your projects and Erasmus Plus. So if you are working in a project that involves a university or a big organization that in any way can support mobility, then you need to take that into account. Not only you will need to look for projects relevant in Cordis, but you will need to look for projects relevant in Erasmus and see if you can set up some kind of synergy. That may be easier because if you find the partners that are involved in similar Erasmus projects, you may contact them directly, and I'm sure that they will be willing to work with you. And of course, EASME. This is the agency for the SMEs. Close that. One down. EASME dashboards. Now, EASME dashboards, okay, yes, offers another tool where you can see all the projects that either projects from the European Innovation Council, EIC, European Innovation Ecosystems, or projects funded by ISMEA, the new agency on SMEs. And these are all different hubs, okay? Unfortunately, information in the Commission is still in silos. You cannot search everything at once. They know that they still compartmentalize a lot of things. You may get that one agency doesn't know what the other agency is doing. Okay, we have this problem, but a good search will give you a lot of results, and the better results that you will get, the more chances that you will write a good and meaningful proposal. Close it. And from the links, up. You see that if you click the links there, you see European Innovation Council, COSME, InnoSoup, European Innovation Ecosystem. These are all different data hubs where you can find different proposals. So you may end up looking into 5 or 6 places, but you need to go through this searching procedure if you want to know what has happened in that field. Not only academically, because okay, Horizon Europe and the framework programs will provide you an idea of what had happened in the academic field. But if you are looking for, let's say, what has happened in terms of commercialization, or has any company, any spin-off has been created through this work, then you need to look in other projects as well, in other data as well. And finally, the financial transparency. Click on financial transparency, the one below. Yes. Okay. Yes. Now, this is all about money. However, funding and money can give you a good idea of who's behind that. And the financial transparency system will give you all the information you need about any beneficiary. If you look for, if you filter here this this database and you write the name, I think somewhere it's the name of a beneficiary. If you write the name of a beneficiary you have in mind, you will find out exactly in which programs this beneficiary has been involved and how much funding has this beneficiary received. Okay, and then you can filter, of course, by country, by region, by year.
Can you look with the English name, or it has to
English
be? Because sometimes, you know,
Yeah,
in,
if you give, yes, you are right. Whatever I looked for was through the English name. If you are not sure, you can look for the original name from Funding and Tenders portal, because you will be able to find which is the name of a partner. Okay, you need to look a little bit further into these tools and start using them a little bit more effectively. Can I do? Can you go to Funding and Tender portal in? Click here. Click here. Yes. Click here. No, not in the image. Not in the image. Yes. Okay. Okay. Now, let's see an example. Go to search. No, how to participate. Celine, how to participate. Partner search. Okay. Accept all cookies. First of all, accept all cookies. Now, let's say that you are working, you are trying to see, you have found through Cordis that a certain partner has won a number of projects and you want to see what's the status. Take unclick persons, you can look even from persons. Click just organizations. Click just organizations. Okay. Now look for, let's say, TÜBİTAK. No results? You need to select organization. No, now. No, don't unclick any, don't unclick, just, yeah, search an organization type, not type, search a city, no, leave it as, write the name, let's see if it will give us anything, TÜBİTAK. A lot of names. Take out the person, it's okay. Okay. It's not TÜBİTAK there. Okay. Can you look with the Turkish name? You were writing the name in Turkish? Write it in English. There. Pick will give you. Yeah. We don't have English in the keyboard. Okay. There we are. Yeah. This is the organization. Okay. But something is not correct, but because it can't be just zero project. Okay. No, the second one though, it's the correct one, no? Ah, it's Belgium. Okay. Go a little bit. Can you filter out the names, unclick persons? Why does it unclick? No? Yeah? No, unclick this. Unclick profiles. No, how did you find it? Okay. Enough. Don't write everything. Okay, it shouldn't be that difficult. I don't know. I cannot filter that. Yeah. Okay, it's not that difficult, I tell you. And you can write it in even if you write in English. I want an organization that has some projects. Do we have any projects here? Yeah, go to that one, the third one. I don't know the Turkish. Yeah. Okay. So from this portal, you will be able, if you find the organization, to see how many projects they are involved. This is not core. This remember, this is funding and tender portal. Okay. So you will be able to see how many past projects they are involved. If you go a little bit down, yes, the project list and where are the other partners. So if you click, not that one, if you click the title of the project, click the title, it will take you to Cordis. Okay? So these sites are kind of linked. So you can either start from Cordis or you can start from funding and tender portal. Once you identify an organization, then you can start digging into this organization, see the projects that they are involved in, who else is involved in these projects, because now you have all the information you need. Now you have, for instance, the call of proposals. So from here you can see all the consortia, all the projects that were funded under this call, okay? And from there, you can identify everybody who's involved in this, or you can go a little bit further and look for all the institutions that were funded under this program. So not just the call, but let's say the destination or the topic. Okay. So it requires a lot of search. You are all researchers. You should be able to search it. Of course, yes, yes, yes. And it gives you the ability to send a message to the LEAR, to the legal representative. However, most of the times this will not work because the LEAR in such big universities is somebody in the accounting or in a department that they don't care about these kind of messages, so they will ignore it. They get hundreds and thousands of messages every day, so they will just ignore it. However, by using correctly these two tools, you will be able to find a lot of information about what has happened so far, who are the key players in this, and how you should move forward. Okay? Yes, okay. So one last thing. This presentation, and the next one were not developed with PowerPoint. I made them with another application which will allow you to go up and down and have a more interesting experience and see all the links and see all the information that I have added to this ones, like notes and messages. So we can go to the next presentation now, Celine, I think.
Can we do something with the contacts? Because once you showed in the funding and data portal persons, can that be used somehow to find out contact details from organizations, or these are just the LEARs or legal representatives from the funding and tenders portal? When they were looking for
the funding and tenders portal will not give you names. Even if it gives you names, it will not give you emails. It will give you the names of the LEARs.
Of the LEARs, then it's not that useful. It's the one that just sign on behalf of the organization, so we don't need that. Okay, thank you.
Any other question on search and how you can use it?
So can we recapitulate a little bit? So we just have a nice, good overview.
Okay. So why do you need search and why do you need all these tools? These are the tools that you will start from. You use them. Can you open the funding and tender portal, Celine, so that we, instead of this, we can have a look there. So you need the funding and tender portal because you need to find out the call that you are targeting. From there, from the call that you are targeting, you will find, you will find the partners from that call. You will find other projects. And by combining the projects and the consortia and the calls, you will be able to see who has been involved in that particular topic. Okay? Once you find these organizations, then you try to narrow it down and find the people who were actually responsible about that. Okay? And there I showed you an example of how you can use Bing to identify people that are responsible, or at least have probably more involvement in that particular project than the LEAR. And why do you do that? Because as Nikos keeps saying, you need to contact these people in order to either start a collaboration with them through a synergy. Hello, you are working on the same area. Let's work together. Let's organize a workshop. Let's have a meeting together. let's organize a common training, even a webinar. This is synergies. Or because you want them to include you in in a new call, in a new proposal. Okay, so you have been working in that. We are also working in that. We are interested. Let's create a new project together. Let's work on a new proposal together. So that's the idea. This is why you need all these people. This is why you need all this information. Yes. No. So you need to be able to use these tools effectively in order to be able to write a good proposal. Is that clear? Good. So I don't think that you need a break. I think that you're fine. Yeah. Yeah. I see that you're okay. You can have some water. Now, this presentation is much more interesting because it's a new presentation. This is the first time that I'm giving this presentation, so please feel free to comment. You will get access to that, don't worry, full access. You will have the opportunity also to look it for yourselves and tell me what we can improve. So, okay, we are here. So, what is generative AI? Okay, do we have any AI scientists here? Nobody? No scientists from AI, machine learning, nothing? Good. Now I can make mistakes. Nobody will understand. Okay, so generative AI is a branch of IT science that can create, the branch of AI actually that can create something, a text, an image, an audio file, a song, even entire websites. Okay, it's relatively new as an application. AI is not new. We are talking about machine learning and deep learning and all these language models for some time now. But it was only in November 2022 that these applications became available to the public and they were meaningful. Okay, because a few years back, if you can remember, when Siri came out and Alexa and all that assistants, they were mediocre. Okay, you were asking some questions and they were giving you results out of nothing, so they were useless. But now in November, OpenAI announced ChatGPT. Oops. Yes, ChatGPT. Click on it. Click on the image. And ChatGPT looks like this in black. You can have it in white as well. And what does it do? It helps you create new things. First of all, it is based in language models. So, do you think that it understands what you say? Do you believe that it understands context? No, it does not. It does not. The model, the language model itself, is able. First of all, it's millions of words and sentences and data. It is able not to understand the context of what you are saying, but it is able to understand the words and compile something that is relevant to what you are asking. Okay. First, it was the 3.5 that came out. The 3.5 was impressively good, and then ChatGPT 4 came out, and then they offered also plugins which will allow you to connect ChatGPT with other websites, with other applications, and of course access to the internet. Microsoft AI has a big stake on OpenAI, which is the company that developed ChatGPT. And this is why they have taken ChatGPT 4 and incorporated into big search engine. Okay? So when you are looking, when you are searching in Bing, you are searching with ChatGPT. Now, 3.5 is free, 4 costs 20 euros per month. Every time you ask something, it creates a new chat. So this is the way that it creates, it gives you results. You ask, it responds. You ask, it responds. Let's go to the next one. This is not the only kid in town. Okay. You have also BART. It came later, after OpenAI created ChatGPT. Came BART. Have you used BART? Anyone that has used BART? No? You don't like it, huh? No? Yes? Yes? You write BART. BART, you write the name. And you go. If you go in your Chrome browser, you write BART. It's bart.google, but I think it's the links are in the presentation. Don't worry. So same approach, chat interface. You write something, it responds. You write something, it responds. A few improvements in terms of usability here. Google, you can upload some things. You can upload pictures. This is something that you can do it in ChatGPT now as well. And through plugins, of course, you can read through texts, but here it's easier. And the export, it's much better. It can export directly to a Google document. It can export tables as well. So it has a better, more intuitive user interface. But ChatGPT is getting there, by the way. And no, don't go to Claude yet. Yes, here. What else did I want? Yes. Both of them now understand spoken word. So if you speak to it, it will understand you, it will dictate, translate it into text, and will start responding. Okay. Now there is another model available. Yes, down, Claude. This is from Anthropic, another company, one of the big ones. This is more at the 3.5 level, ChatGPT 3.5. The advantages in this one is that you can just throw in a big file, PDF, Word, and it will read it, it will analyze, and it will you can start discussing about this file. So you take your report, you throw the report in, and you drag and drop it here in the message, and you write, summarize this report, and it gives you a pretty good summary. It's quite fast as well. Okay, also free. All these are free, but up to a level. Okay, if you start using them too much, at some point you will reach a limit where it will ask you to pay. Okay, close that. Next one. Yes. These three models were models for creating language, text. There are models for pictures. First one that came about was DALL-E. That was from OpenAI. It was impressive at that time, but the quality of pictures wasn't that good when it first came out. Now it keeps improving and improving more and more. Then came Stable Diffusion, and you will see from the images the level of detail, the improvement, and Mid-Journey, which is one of the most advanced of all, and it can create astonishing pictures. Now, if you believe that you will go and describe with one prompt something that you have in mind and will give you this picture, it won't. Okay? It will give you something that will need a lot of iterations and improvements in lighting, in detail, in texture, in style. However, if you start working with these models, they will at some point give you fantastic results. And there are plenty of trainings out there for these models, for both for the text models and the image models. And of course, you need to start working. Now, that's a good question. Nobody knows yet. Now there was last year Getty Images. You know Getty Images. Getty Images filed filed a suit for, I think it was Mid-Journey or DALI, I can't remember, because people were taking the photos of Getty Images and they were doing two things. First of all, the easy one, they were taking out the watermark, okay? Because they have Getty Images and all these images that you can find in the internet, they have a watermark. It's very easy for an AI to just take out the watermark, okay? You upload the photo, you say take out the watermark and it's fine. Maybe not 100% fine, but 99.9. But even worse than that, they were taking images from well-known photographers and they were replicating them. So they were copying them using their style, their texture, their analysis, their way, their lighting, and Getty filed a suit and said, if you are using photos that are in our property and you are creating derivatives of them, so something that looks like, because my prompt was take a photo of, let's say, a well-known photographer of National Geographic, and this is a photo of me, make me like I am photographed by a National Geographic photographer. And if you spend some time improving and improving, the result is really very good. So they sued these companies. The verdict is not out there. I mean, the intellectual property issues that we will have have not being discussed adequately, because this is something that starts now. Do we have any academics here? Any professors in the university? Okay. How do you deal with students? Are they using ChatGPT? How do you deal with that? You cannot. I mean, okay, you can create disclaimers. You can tell them. I had a discussion with a university professor in Greece, and he was telling me, I cannot avoid it. You cannot avoid it. So we better create the framework. What such a framework would look like? Say, okay, do you want to use ChatGPT? Fine, use it. However, you need to tell me where you are using it and how. Okay? So I have used it to expand my research in that field. I have used these prompts in the annex. You attach them in the annex, and I got these results. Using these results, I created new prompts and so forth. So a lot of universities now considering to create a kind of use policy for AI. How do we use it? And I ask you something else. Let's say that I am using AI to invent something new, an innovative idea. Okay? And I submit it to EIC and I win. Who has the IP? Can, let's say, OpenAI come and say, you have developed it using our portal, our platform. So we would like to have, let's say, 10% of your IP. That goes the other way around, because the more you feed the system, the more you feed the platform, the more the platform trains itself. Okay? Universally. Universally. And of course, there are privacy issues. If you work in a company, okay, and you have, let's say, a contract which is confidential, okay, or some research that we have done, and nobody else knows about that. And you believe, okay, I will feed it in to OpenAI so that I can improve it. The moment that you feed it into the AI, forget about privacy. Okay, it's open. They may use it any way they want. So if, for instance, somebody, Coca-Cola, at some point, maybe we can improve the recipe. Okay? Let's feed in the recipe and see what we get. Then, at some point, maybe somebody else finds that recipe, yes? Because it's open, there is no privacy at the moment. It tells you in the disclaimer, whatever you are writing, we own it. We are going to use it. There are platforms that, systems that use the same language models, or they create their own language models that are isolated from the web, so that they can use it proprietarily and they can use it without being afraid of any privacy. But then you need to have huge infrastructure to do that. So be an organization, a very big university or something like that. Okay? It is estimated that OpenAI spends a day millions of dollars to maintain this model. So let's go into more practical issues. We can have a break if you want, yeah? Yeah. 10 minutes, because after that we'll go into more practical issues. Yeah, thank you. change mine as well? Okay. So we fly from Sophia Jackson. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. You had your coffee, I hope. We now go to more practical issues. How can we use generative AI in our research? Okay. What can we do with that? Where can it help you? And how can it help? The obvious thing is, of course, proposal writing. Okay? But how? Because it would be nice if you could write a prompt, give the whole text of the topic, say, you know, this is the topic, this is the call, this is the template, can you please write a proposal for me? Okay? That would be nice, no? We may get there, we are not there at the moment, but then the Commission will face another problem, and they have already started facing that. What are they going to do with so many applications that they will get? Because if anybody can use artificial intelligence to write proposals, then everybody will. Okay? You know, there was a research recently, I was looking at that by, I think it was McKinsey, one of the biggest consulting companies, and they did an experiment. They split their workforce in two. They had 400 of their consultants working with AI, and another group, 400, working without it. Okay? Now, there were some very interesting insights. The consultants that used the AI were faster. So they were able to produce more results in less time. Now, the quality of results wasn't that different, okay? I mean, both of them, in both cases, the results were good because obviously the consultants always went through the output and were improving it. But those that used AI did that in less than half time. Another insight is that senior consultants or consultants that were really good weren't able to do that much better because they were already good. Okay. However, those that are average managed to produce much better results than they usually have. So what do we see here? That if you are, let's say, an average proposal writer, maybe you get some improvement. If you are an excellent proposal writer, then improvement that you will get will be tiny, but you will save time because you will be able to write maybe more proposals. Both of these results show that at some point or another, the Commission will have a major problem in accepting applications. And we'll see that in April. We'll see how many applications will be submitted. Okay? Maybe half of these applications will be garbage. It doesn't matter. If they receive them, they have to evaluate them. And for the moment, there is no automated flow. There is no AI involved in evaluating proposals. The other thing that you can use Gen AI for is, of course, project management. So there are every single tool that you may or may not have been using so far has incorporated AI now, one way or another, either to streamline the workflow, create tasks out of a text. So you write something, you feed the, let's say, the minutes of meetings, and create tasks automatically. Or you give it a big document and can summarize, or anything that you can think. So in project management also can be useful. Collaboration, of course, these work together, and even in dissemination, okay? Because what is very important in this dissemination is content creation. If you can speed up the way that you create content using one of these platforms, then you will. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so proposal writing. Yes, proposal writing. Do your research before you write a proposal. Now, if you try to search for similar tools, you will get maybe 20 to 30 tools for each case. Okay? The tools that I have here are tools that I have used. They are tools that work. They are not free. Sorry about that. They have a free version. They have a free version. Most of them have a free version, if I remember. But the free version has limitations. Okay? You don't need all of them, of course. Okay? These are tools for researchers. The first one, Iris AI, basically all of them, one way or another, do a literature review. So you give the item that you're looking for, let's say the keywords that you're looking for, and it produces the journals, the papers, the research that is available in the databases. Some of them, like Semantic Scholar and Connected Papers and Litmaps, basically Litmaps and Connected Papers create also interactive maps, okay, between the papers. So you can see the relations, the references from one paper to the other. Very useful. Elicit and Consensus and Semantic Scholar use languages to create links even if there are not direct references to the paper. So even if one paper does not refer to another, they confer that from the text. Also very useful. So if I write a paper, I make a reference to your paper, okay? This is a direct reference. We know, you can easily find that. But maybe I am writing something in my paper that I do not refer, I do not mention your paper explicitly. However, my terminology, the terminology that I use, is very similar to your paper. For any reason, either I haven't read it, I haven't come across it, I ignore it, I ignore your paper. However, these tools will find your paper as well by looking, all of them. But Consensus and Semantic Scholar do an excellent work in that. Okay? In all of them, you can use natural language. In all of them, you can improve your prompts. So you write something, you get some results, you keep looking till you find what you need. In all of them, you get these results in a very meaningful way, much more meaningful than a list. Okay? Either through a map, through some connections. I think Iris creates a table with the summary of every paper and the insights of every paper. So it's like summarizing the papers for you, okay, and creating connections. They are all very helpful. Again, you don't need all of them. Probably you need just one of them, but you need to test them to see which one is better for you. Okay? I am more inclined to elicit consensus and semantic scholar for the moment, but verdict is not yet out. I'm trying to use all of them to see which one gets better results. More on that in the next training on AI. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so you do your research, you find what is out there, then you start writing. Okay, this is easier. Grammarly is not new. A lot of you may know it. Then we have Quillbot. Quillbot is relatively newer. These are not very expensive tools. I think Quillbot costs something like 40 euros annually. And it can paraphrase. So you have a paragraph. It can paraphrase, can create, change all the words. And it gives you different styles. So if you want a simpler style, if you want a more formal style, it can help you do that. But it can also help you find if a text is plagiarized, and it can also create citing for you. So you post a link from a web and it creates a reference. Very useful. Quillbot. Outright, I have not used it, but it looks nice. Next. Okay. Now, you need visuals. We say it again and again. In your proposals, you need to create visuals. Gamma is the application that I have used to create this presentation. Okay? Celine or Kemal will send you the links of these two presentations because I see that you are eager to continue and you will be able to work with them. I have added a lot more text than I usually do because I wanted these presentations to be more usable after the presentation. Okay, so the text there will give you a lot of extra information, plus the link is already there. So Gamma is the information that the application that I have used to create this presentation. You can use it to create presentations, documents, or websites. Very easy. It has a fairly good AI assistant. You have to pay. Not for simple use is free. Okay, for the AI assistants you have to pay. The AI assistant, the AI assistant can create a presentation out of a description. So you give it a description, and you create a presentation about AI, and it creates, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slides, and then you can improve it, you can add more, and so forth. You can import files from PowerPoint. So if you have an old presentation for PowerPoint, you can import it. It doesn't work very well. The images are corrupted. What I liked in this one, okay, you don't get this experience now because I need to sit in a computer. However, the flow is much better. Okay, and especially when you go to see it for yourselves, you will realize that there is a lot of information there in different layers. So you will have a better experience than looking at the PowerPoint or a PDF. At least this is what I hope. Please let me know if I'm right or wrong. Canva, extremely useful. Okay, you can design presentations, you can design infographics, you can design simple diagrams, logos, anything. A huge library, a lot of templates. Infogram, it's more focused on infographics. Okay, Canva and Gamma I am now a regular user. I have added them to my portfolio. I have the paid versions. I use them for almost everything that I can. Infogram, I've used it. It's okay. It's very useful, but I have too many tools already, so I left that out. Let's go to the next one. Let's summarize. Collapse. Click collapse. Yeah. Collapse. Collapse the no. There and there. Okay, so tools that were tools for proposal writing. Okay, how to improve your research, how to improve your writing, and how to improve your visuals. At some point, when you start working on this sector, or in every sector, you need to create a toolkit. Okay, some tools that are good for you, you have tried them, you like them, you know how to use them, and you start learning, you invest some time in learning them in more detail. You need to do that because these tools will save you time. All of these tools are now AI enhanced. So in all this, in Canva as well, there is a magic AI, and you describe something and it creates something. They are not terribly, they are not excellent, but they are a very good starting point. So you can see that AI is now in every tool that you're using. Soon it will come in Microsoft Office. They have announced it, the Copilot. It will be launched for around the globe. I believe by next year we'll all have it. And most of these tools will be incorporated there. So tools like Quillbot, like Grammarly, they will be default in the new Office. There are tools, if you work with Excel, that can help you write formulas. So instead of trying to write a difficult formula to filter something or to create something else, there are tools that where you describe, I would like a new column that will take this from there and this from there and combine them and filter them. That's it. Okay. Let's go. Okay. Now, even during the first stage of proposal writing, okay, you still need project management. You don't need project management only when your proposal is successful. Why? Why do you think you need project management during the preparation stage? Why? First of all, you have to write the proposal. Okay, you have to write the proposal. You have to collaborate with others. So you need to think about that at the proposal stage. I used to have Trello. I'm not particularly fond to it right now. Asana is also a nice tool. ClickUp, it's fairly new. All of them provide collaborating platforms. Okay, I have used all of them. I'm not using at the moment any of them. But they are all very good. Asana, I think it's the best in task management, in the way it creates tasks, it assigns tasks, it monitors tasks. ClickUp is more comprehensive, more complete. It offers documents. You can write everything in documents. You can create wikis. You can connect. Trello, it's basically cards, so it's simpler and based on the Kanban logic when you have the 3 cards, things that you need to do, things you are doing, and things that are done. And finally, collaborate. Notion is what I use now. is my choice for collaboration tools. It is very powerful. It also offers an AI feature. It can write text, it can help you improve, it can summarize. It has a lot of very useful features. And imagine that it is like a wiki with databases. So it's not just a website that can handle text, but it can handle information in tables very, very efficiently. Airtable handles only tables. Basically, it is a version of the Excel, a combination of Excel and Access online. It's earlier. It was launched before Notion, and they are both very intuitive, and they create a very interesting environment. But I believe that Notion is more complete because it can also handle texts, big text. And I'm not talking about just uploading Word documents. Okay, the value in these tools is that you try to avoid the Word document for everything. So when you're organizing a meeting, for instance, you don't need another Word document. You don't need one single Word document for every meeting that you're having. Okay? This is the idea of using all these collaboration platforms. Confluence is by Atlassian. It's a big company. If you are in a big organization and you're handling a lot of projects, you're also handling IT projects, then you may consider Atlassian. With Jira, it works very well. Jira is a platform for software development, for monitoring sites, monitoring projects in software development, I mean. And I would recommend it for bigger organizations. If you are a smaller, even bigger, but Notion is the best platform for small to very large organizations. And finally, in the communication, we have Slack, Hive, Chanty. All these are create communication channels. I haven't mentioned Microsoft Teams, of course, and WhatsApp because they are obvious. Most of you already use them now. WhatsApp now has communities. It's fairly new feature, so you may use communities. This is something that can be very useful when you want to work with a bigger team, and the team has people from different organizations. So something like that, a tool that can create a community, can create a channel when you can discuss, when you can directly message someone or more than one, can be very useful even in proposal development and of course in project management. So let's, okay, here. No, one up, yeah. So in project management and collaboration, we have tools that you can manage your tasks, you can collaborate with others, and you can communicate with others. Again, you do not need all of them. Okay. However, you need to have at least some experience with them so that you can pick the one that is better for you and the one that you feel more comfortable with. Yeah. Financial management, I would recommend Airtable or Rows. I don't have that tool here, but if you look it up in Google, Row. It's a version of Excel Online. It offers AI for creating new formulas, but it depends on how complex your financial management is. Maybe you don't need any of that. Maybe you can do your work even with Notion or Airtable, because both Notion and Airtable offer formulas. So you can have tables in both of them with financial data and formulas that can be used to extract information from this data. However, so far, if you need very advanced financial analysis, then you will need to stick with Excel, probably with a combination of BI of Microsoft, of business intelligence. Okay? There's no other tool that can do that in a better way for us. I mean, for normal users who are already accustomed with these tools. Now, we talked about proposal writing, we talked about collaboration and project management. Let's talk about dissemination and communication. So you start the project, okay, and then you write the project management plan and you say that I promise 3 posts per day or per week. About what? This is where these tools can help you. I have used Copy AI. I haven't used lately or Synthesia. Copy AI, I've used it for about 2 months. It's pretty good. It's very intuitive. Lately, I think it's okay. It's easy. My basic criterion for selecting tools is their interface. If they have an intuitive interface, then I think it's worth experimenting with them. If they are cumbersome and they have a very difficult interface, I disregard them. And Synthesia is a new platform for creating realistic videos. I haven't tried, I have seen what it can create. It's very impressive. I haven't tried it to create something. My fear in these cases is how much time, how long it will take you to create the videos that you see in the demos. Okay, because you see something astonishing, but that may have been created by experts in the field, and it may have taken them 5 days. And then you see it and you say, okay, I can create something like that. And you try to create something and it is like a 5-year-old jotting down in a paper. Let's go. Next one. Now, Hootsuite, Buffer, these are all tools. Again, now they have also incorporated some kind of AI. These are used to manage your social media, and they can be used to post in a lot of social media at the same time. You can create schedules. You can extract the analytics of social media and so forth. Agora Plus is similar, but it is also provides good analysis of social media accounts. Hootsuite and Buffer I have used for many years. Agora Plus no. And finally, I haven't used any of these tools, but these are the ones that most recommend in real-time monitoring and feedback analysis. These tools are very useful if you are going to do something like a stakeholder analysis. Okay, so you start a project and you need to do a stakeholder analysis. So you may start posting things and see who is responding to them. So in that case, these tools can be very useful. They are analyzing social media and they suggest to you insights of the content that they find in this social media. That's all for tools, from tools, okay? I gave you, I don't know how many links, how many tools. You can play with them, you can visit the websites, you can have a look with them. Now, we are going to talk about prompting. Okay, how do you ask what you need in order to get better results? I try to organize everything in here in order to take it one by one and try to dissect the information. So these are all things that you need to consider when you are starting a new chat with any tool. It can be ChatGPT, BART, it can be Claude, any. Okay. So let's say that a researcher is looking for information on innovation management. Okay. I'm doing a report, I'm doing some research on innovation management. I need to look for the techniques, for the literature in innovation management, for the papers published. I need to get an understanding of where we stand. First of all, I need to explain my context. So click on the context here. Okay, so by context, we mean define the environment. Who are you and what you are doing? And what's your problem? So this is how we set the background information. Okay, I am a researcher, I'm doing a research, I want a report. And you set the stage. So this is a prompt that describes what you are doing. I am seeking comprehensive insights on contemporary innovation management theories, methodologies, and notable industry applications focusing on the period between 2010 and 2020 within the technology sector in Europe. Why is this prompt good? Why? Why is it better than the other one? Tell me about innovation. What does it have that the other does not? Define the time, yes, the time frame. What else? Geographical, yes. What else? Yes, exactly. Exactly. So we need to be as specific as possible in order to get useful results. Otherwise, you will get a lot of results, but they won't be useful. Okay? So we define the context. Our context is this: 2010 to 2020, technology sector, Europe. Now, what do you want? What do you want? Okay, I know the context. I understand it. So what? Let's go to action. So now you need to explain exactly what you want the system to do. Okay? Now, I want you to analyze the published papers and articles on innovation of the last 10 years to identify, or you can say from 2010 to 2020, okay? To analyze, to identify trends and identify the 5 most used terms within their definition. Okay, so now I'm specifying. I want published papers. I don't want just articles. Okay, that I got from the previous prompt. I want published papers, so I'm looking for academic knowledge now. And I want it to be, of course, within a specific time, within a specific geographical place. Keep in mind that these prompts are in the same chat, so the system remembers, okay? If it's a new chat, then you have to repeat the prompt before that. And keep in mind also that the systems now can remember maybe 3 to 4 prompts before. So at some point you may have to repeat everything if you see that the system is lacking information, then you have to repeat everything. Okay? But let's assume that it remembers, okay? Because you can always copy and paste the text from above. So we have described the context, the geographical location, the period, what we need, the sector. Now we ask specific task, articles and published papers on innovation with the 5 most used terms within the definition. Now, output, there, bring it a little lower. So yes, there. Okay. So explain what you expect. Okay. So the output. How do you want to get the results? Do you want it in a narrative? Do you want it like a bedtime story? Do you want it like a picture? How? So you need to describe the desired results in the format you want. And to do that, you define exactly how you expect the output to be. So we say provide a detailed analysis of key innovation management frameworks adopted by leading tech firms in Europe from, again, you see that I am repeating the prompt in case it gets forgotten. And the key prompt here, the key instance is return the results in a table format with the following layout: framework, definition, year, reference. This will return a table, a real table, okay, with columns and rows, with definitions, with the framework. It will say, for instance, disruptive innovation, open innovation, and then the definition, then the year that was first published, and then what was the reference in which article. And the results that you get, believe me, they are very accurate. I have tested. Okay? ChatGPT 4, the paid version.
So the paid version of ChatGPT also can look on more recent material instead of
Yes,
up
because
to
the
20.
paid version can look in the internet.
Can look in the internet. So everything.
Can do web browsing.
So the free cannot.
3.5 cannot.
So it relies on database that has been
Up
stored
to 2020
up to 2020.
or 2021, I don't remember.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No, open style, not, yes, click there. Okay. So, go a little bit higher. Okay. We described the output now. Okay, a table. But a table is not always useful. Or in addition to a table, we may want some kind of descriptions. Okay? Or within the table, there are some descriptions. Now, in what way, in what style do we want these descriptions? So you need to describe also the tone, the language that you would like the AI to use. One way, stop there, is to explain that you expect a formal, well-structured report on the impact of open innovation on the technology sector, but you can repeat some things, okay? It depends on where you are, including now, this is important. Including an introduction, 3 main sections, and the conclusion. We are giving a structure here, okay? So we are defining. We want 3 sections. If you have something more specific in mind, you should tell it here. I want introduction. I want a section that will argue for, 1 section that will argue against. I want a section with examples, and then I want a section with a conclusion. Okay? So this is open to you. And then you say the style should be formal and academic tone paired with sophisticated vocabulary and grammar, Explain it in clear and accessible way. Now, what's the catch here? What's the catch? What do you think? This will produce an excellent paper, I'll tell you. What is the catch? Sorry? You can write an horizon course, that's not the problem. I'm not talking about horizon now. You will get a very good result. However, sometimes it may be a little bit more verbose, more heavy vocabulary. Okay? Now, the danger here is that somebody that knows your writing will immediately understand that you haven't written it. Immediately. Okay? Because this is not your English. Okay? This is not the way you write. This is the way ChatGPT writes. Okay? Okay? Now, I am writing pretty good English, and still the output that I get from ChatGPT is too much even for me. Okay? It writes like, I don't know, it's a Shakespeare play. Okay? You need to go through it and make sure that, first of all, that you understand. It uses adjectives where they shouldn't. Okay? This is a step. Okay? I'm making a step. If I tell ChatGPT to describe it, it will describe it as a glorifying, magnificent step. Okay, it's a step. Okay? This is the things that you need to avoid when you are writing reports, when you are writing even a simple mail, because you can ask from it a simple mail. Write an email for me where I can invite my colleagues to a workshop or to a conference or whatever. If you let it write the way it wants, it will create an email that, I don't know, nobody will believe it. And for that, open the style templates. Yes, here. Okay, here. Now, this is a style and tone. Write in formal and academic tone paired with sophisticated vocabulary and grammar. Explain in clear and accessible way. Now, this is the result. Okay? If you read it, it changes. Here is in conversational, readable style, as if you were explaining to a friend a little bit better. Natural language and phrasing that you would use in everyday life. Here, as a 10th grade level, you can ask it to write as a 5 grade level, so a kid in school. And simple language, even when explaining complex topics. And finally, you can instruct it to write as somebody else, who is, of course, well known and has enough text published in the internet. So a well-known author. Bill Gates, write as Bill Gates writes in his blog. Okay? I invite you to read this and tell me which one you liked. Not now. You will get a lot of different results. First of all, you will get different results even with the exact same prompt. Okay, try it. Try the prompt and then try use it again. Different results. Try using the prompt in the 3 different models. ChatGPT, BART, and Claude. Different results. First of all, we have in ChatGPT 3.5 and 4. Different results. Bottom line is that you need to identify a style that you will be happy with, and it should reflect you. Okay? Not Bill Gates. We know Bill Gates, but we need to see your writing, which means that you need to train it. And by training it, we mean feeding as much text you can from your own writing, from your own work. So if you have published something in the internet, then you can instruct it to write like that paper. And here it is, the example. Okay? So when you give an example, you are narrowing it even more. So you don't just say write as Bill Gates. You say write as this guy, Joseph Bauer and Christensen, wrote in that particular paper. Do you know Clayton Christensen? Who knows him? Yes? Anybody else? This is the guy who kind of invented disruptive innovation, defined the term disruptive innovation. And that was the first article that the term appeared. Okay? It can identify it. Mostly it can, but I put it just to be sure. Okay? I put it here first of all so that you can see it. So what did I ask here? Create a persuasive article on open innovation, encouraging entrepreneurs to adopt its principles, similar to the style and tone of the article, this one. There are other methods where you can evolve your guidance. You can do it in steps. Okay? Every prompt of the prompts that I showed you, it can be in steps. So you can first say, read the article, read this article. You can provide the link or not. You cannot. You can provide. You can just write the title, and if it doesn't find it, it will tell you. Okay. If it finds it, it will tell you. So and then you will say, okay, now write me an article about that. Yes.
Just one theoretical question. Yes. How many words you need for this artificial intelligence to identify someone's tone or style? I don't know, like 2,000 words. Is it enough? For instance,
I don't have an answer, Ali. I don't have an answer. I would say that at least you need an article, something with beginning and an end. Okay, because it if I can provide a paragraph, it will be able to emulate my style, but not recreate it, if you know what I mean. So if I give you a paragraph, yes, more or less you will see how I'm writing, but you won't be able to understand how I'm thinking. Okay? Not that it understands how anybody can think, but the more you feed it, the more the system is able to emulate the style of a particular person. So I would say you need at least one text, but with a beginning and an end. And okay, now in modifiers. So we set the environment. We instructed exactly what we want the system to do. We described the style. We gave it even an example. Now let's try to narrow it. Okay? Not narrow it is in constraint, but refine it. Okay, so with modifiers we can provide extra information. Okay, things that were not obvious the first time. Maybe you can do that after a few prompts. Okay, you ask something, you get in return, you ask something else. At some point you realize that the system is still struggling to identify what you were looking for, so you use a modifier and you say, okay, generate a comprehensive chronological list of major events in the theory of research and innovation, including brief description and dates, start 19,000 onwards. So you give another, you try another angle. Okay, this time it's a chronological order. Of course, you could combine it. You could ask, for instance, give me the output in a table. okay, with the first column being the year, the second column being the theory, and the third the description. Or you could set the tone, but in this instance of the prompt, we are looking for something simpler. So we don't want to perplex it anymore. We just want a chronological order. And then we have the constraints, the boundaries. Now here we set the boundaries. So if we feel that the scope is too broad and we need to narrow it down, then we can do it by trying to think how we can focus it even more. So we have already used the time frame, the geographical focus, the time frame, the subject matter. Now we take it one step further and we say, okay, we want statistical data, advancement challenges, case studies, and set a word limit. Okay, this is the key here. Set a word limit. So this is the constraint here. So we want all this, but don't give me 5,000 words. Don't give me one paragraph. I want something that will be 2,000 words, give or take, yes? And of course, we instruct it to make sure that the information is current, accurate, and reference from reputable sources. So that means that it will prioritize published articles rather than websites or social media. And finally, we go to iterations. Okay, I have already mentioned that. We need to ask again and again every time by creating a slightly better prompt. So in here, we refined the prompt based on the feedback, and we are revising the sentence to ensure that we get the result that we expect. So we're talking about analysis of collaborative open innovation projects. Now we added projects between startups and manufacturing firms, even more specific. In the UK, not in Europe, just in the UK, between 2018 and 21, just 4 years, 3 years, include challenges, benefits, key success factors, ensure to use reputable sources again, and provide bibliography. Based on the feedback, include more statistical data and real-world examples. This sentence, based on feedback, is because we have already used this prompt after we got something. So we have already, the system has already gave us a few things, and we say, based on what you have said, go and do that now. For instance, maybe I think that the result from the previous prompt was innovation projects in general. So now we tell it, okay, based on the feedback you gave, now look for innovation projects, but in the UK in that particular period. So we refine again and again, and we try to combine. Remember that the memory of the model is not very big, so you may have to repeat some questions. You may have at some point to start a new chat, start clean again, because the old chat may have been cluttered. And finally, make sure that you verify the results. Do some fact checking. Don't believe whatever the system says. If you know your subject, you will be able to identify mistakes. Okay? And sometimes the mistakes are very obvious and silly. I was asking the system about projects from Horizon Europe, and it gave me projects from Horizon 2020. Okay. Now, to somebody that doesn't know, doesn't make any difference, but I gave an explicit instruction for projects under Horizon Europe. It still came up with projects from Horizon 2020. Okay, this is a mistake. It may not look too different, but it is still a mistake. So you need to fact check. And of course, make sure that you understand the results. Which means that if you are able to read whatever the system gives you, and you are happy with that, then it's fine. When you read it, is it something that you could have written, or a better version of you could have written, at least? Okay? If you answer yes, then it's fine. If it is, if the text that you are reading is not something that resembles your way of writing, your way of thinking, then discard it. You can use it as a source, but it's not yours. Okay. Now let's close the toggles. Click on the title so that we can close them. Yes, yes. Because I want to see all of them. And okay. Okay. So let's wrap it up. Context to define the environment. Action to clarify what you want the system to do. Output to explain how you want it. So the table, a narrative, a short story. Style, in what style? And I have a table of style templates for you to experiment with. Example to illustrate your case. To explain here, this is what I want. See an example of it. Modifier to refine your input. Constraints to narrow and set your boundaries. Iterations again and again to improve it until you get good results. And finally, fact checking and understanding. Okay? This is the framework that you need to use in your prompting. Okay, Nikos.
If for the first chat, for the first prompt, are you going to use the all-in-one context, action, output, style up to an example? So is it better to have all this in one chat message, or you start with the context first?
The
enter?
more confident you get with prompting, the more you will be able to use them in one single prompt.
Okay.
If you don't feel comfortable, divide it between prompts.
But is it better for the system in order to give you more complete and comprehensive answers to have it in one prompt? Okay, that's it.
It's better for the system because it will avoid too many iterations. So if you can combine at least the first, let's say, 5, so you give the context, you explain the action, you describe the output, you define the style, and you give an example. Okay. The prompt may be half a page, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And then you see, you can follow the same framework. So you can create, let's say, a template of prompts and use it for everything that you are looking for. You can even generalize that. So you, instead of, you can have the template and then change the subject or change the example or change the restrictions. Okay. Now, what are the challenges in AI? Of course, there are ethical risks. We haven't even started discussing them. Okay. Who uses that? Why you use it? Now they have been trying all these companies to restrict bad use. So even if you write it, how can I kill someone, or how can I create a bomb, it will not answer. However, it was easy enough to create a bomb by looking at sources in the internet and then by buying things over by buying things online. So how easy it will be to create something dangerous using AI? We don't know yet. We haven't seen the results. There are security risks, of course. We have cases where AI is used to crack passwords. Okay, so if I know a lot of information about you, and we know that most people use information that they can remember, like the birthdays, the the names of their kids, the names of the family, then maybe I can find some passwords about you. I can, try to combine some information, and then maybe I can find something new. And there are always the bias risks, the ones that we already discussed, because you get results that may be biased because you are biased and you don't know how to ask correctly. This is a similar to search. So if you don't believe in vaccines, you are looking for why vaccines are dangerous, okay? Because you want to validate your thinking, but this is biased. You shouldn't look for why vaccines are dangerous. You should use a more neutral term. How can vaccines be used, or what is happening with vaccine research, or something like that. If you are assuming that vaccines are dangerous, then the results that you will get, even from a simple search, will be results that will validate your beliefs. Data privacy, we already discussed that. Okay, you take a business secret and you feed it to AI because you believe that it will improve it. Yeah, but then it's not secret anymore. Regulations, we don't know. We don't have them yet. At some point, maybe we will. I'm sure that we will. There are working groups already, as we speak, discussing the regulations. And of course, reputation risks. So, what happened? Yeah. Because you generate content that can reflect on you. Yes? So you somehow are connected with that content. How can you ensure responsible use of generative AI? It's common sense, but we need to repeat them. You need to be transparent. Now, if you assume, now of course nobody uses that because there is no framework. Okay? If you ask me, I will tell you the truth, but I don't have the obligation to tell you the truth if you don't ask me. I won't tell you anything. So if I need to explain how I did my research, transparency, then of course I will explain that I did my research using AI and using this methodology. If I do not need to explain, I won't. Why should I? Okay? Anything I say will be used against me. Okay? So I say nothing. Accountability. Whoever uses these tools should be accountable. So the texts and the products of AI still have an owner. Okay? The one that gave the prompt. Who else? The tool is there. Privacy preservation. Okay? You should prevent what is private. Ethical promotion. You should use it not for anything bad. Okay? You should not use it to steal something or to create something that it's not yours, or to win a context. However, I don't know. I mean, in Horizon or in proposal writing, should you use it or not? There is no clear rule that you shouldn't. But even if there was, how can you make sure that nobody will use it? So we are in an uncharted territory. It should be non-maleficence, so you should make sure that it doesn't, it's not used to create any bad, and you should do justice by being fair and accountable and ensure equity and all that. So all the ethical issues that we have in IT and in other problems, we have them here. It is nothing more than a tool, a very clever tool, but it is still a tool. We don't know how it will evolve. And that's it. We touched a lot of things. I showed you some tools that you can use. We discussed prompting, and we briefly covered the issues with AI. Now, we need hours and hours if we start discussing that. And that will not change the fact that AI is out there. It is free for everyone, even the paid version. Come on, the paid version is 20 euros. If you ask me, none of the other tools would matter. Okay? All the tools that I have presented. You can just work with ChatGPT 4. You can work with ChatGPT 3.5, but if you want to make an investment, do it in ChatGPT 4. And that is for now. Maybe tomorrow something will change, okay? Something new will come. Whatever we discuss here is a clear expiration date. Today. Nikos, you want to say something?
First of all, I realized behind this there was a lot of work from you, research. You put a lot of practical knowledge into these presentations, and I'm very pleased to see that. Now, how can we have all this knowledge into some practical use cases in the context of IMS? Yeah. Because that would be extremely useful also for the hands-on practice tomorrow. So in that respect, probably we need to come out with some use case scenarios that can be done not with the paid version, but for tomorrow, but with the free version.
Everything can be done with the free version as well.
Or ChatGPT, perfect.
Maybe you will not get the accuracy on the results, but it doesn't matter. You will improve.
Okay. So so tomorrow we will we need to give some use case scenarios and see how they can use, for example, ChatGPT for implementing them. Something like an easy one, I see you need to write the abstract of an application form, upload it in which tool you said that you can upload it, and then make a summary of it up to 2,000 characters. So that will be something that can work.
I would say that we can work with ChatGPT 3.5 or any other tool, okay?
Okay.
BART, Claude, you choose. And maybe try to write a concept note, but this time not just half a page concept note, because we have the tools to improve it. So try to, in the concept note, to identify also the research behind that. Try to improve the narrative. Try to give some references. Try to find who else has worked on that. Okay, so it shouldn't be a concept note just like the ones that you are going to send to potential partners, but it can be a concept note for you. So you identify the subject that you would like to work. Can be a call, it can be a more generic topic. From the tools that we've presented in the previous presentation, you go to the funding and tender portal, you identify something, you have the text there, so you have a starting point. You see who else is working on that. You can use Bing to do some research and see what else is happening in that area. And then you can use one of the AIs to start working using this approach, okay, with prompts to start developing a concept note. In the context, you will tell it, I am doing research on this and this and this and this and this. I'm trying to develop a working proposal for this topic and create a concept note. This is your context. And the action, I want a concept note with this and this and this and this section, okay? And you should guide it to create, and the output should be like this, and the style in this concept note should be like this. Remember, don't avoid academic. You can use academic, but don't all of you use academic. It's often not relevant. If you are submitting a call under European innovation ecosystems, for instance, it shouldn't be on an academic tone. It should be on a business-friendly tone. Okay? And the style guide that I have there, it's barely the only one. Okay? You need to define your own style guide. Okay? The fact that I gave you 4 examples doesn't mean that these are the only ones. And then you give an example, and you can use the text from the call to feed it to the model to try to identify what is missing and how you could improve it.
So from your experience, a good use case scenario is to use one of those AI tools, let's say ChatGPT or Bing, in order to start preparing a proposal summary, a proposal concept, at either a previous call or a future call, depending on what are their interests, and see how that can be further fine-tuned and improved by iterating and doing this kind of tips
and
that we
remember,
discussed.
we are not looking for a proposal proposal summary just for others, because in this one we may get away with few details. We are looking for some preliminary preparatory work for us, okay? So the purpose of this exercise is not to send your proposal note to somebody else, is to use it as a basis with your writing team, okay?
As the foundation of your
As
whole
a
proposal.
foundation for your proposal. Obviously, at some point, you will send it to potential partners, but maybe not all of it, maybe part of it. Maybe you can ask the system to summarize it, okay? Be creative. The whole idea about AI is creativity.
Any further questions from the audience? I know it's getting quite late, so we have to finish.
We'll make sure that Kemal will send all the links. These are 2 links. You will get them.
I know. For example, there is already some cult topics already. How can we, for example, derive the idea, prepare the idea, the project from the cult topics, giving the expected output and the scope by using of the artificial intelligence.
The question is, can you use one of those tools to say, look, this is the call, this is what is expected, can you give me some ideas? What could be a nice research topic for that?
Give you some ideas, but remember, it's a process, okay? So you cannot just take all the text from the call, throw it in, and say, okay, give me some ideas now what to do. Okay? It will give you maybe some ideas, but it will be poor ideas. You have to go on a step by step. Look for what has happened in the past. Try to find what is missing. Try to find a problem that you will be solving, and then ask it for some ideas. You know what I mean? You understand the process? Okay? It's like writing a research paper. It's like looking for, I mean, we need to identify a problem before you describe a solution. Otherwise, you have a solution, but there is no problem. Okay? So, before you define the solution, find the problem. There is always a problem behind every call. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a call.
Okay. I'm sure tomorrow is going to be very interesting for everyone. Looking forward to that, actually. So we'll see how that goes. Excellent. Any further comments, remarks, concerns for tomorrow or whatever? Okay, so tomorrow the ones that do not have a laptop or so, they will work with some others. So don't worry if you don't have your own access device. There will be some people that I'm sure as colleagues will be more than happy. Yes, you can use mobiles, yes, that's okay if you're happy with them. So let's have a good rest. Let all this knowledge as a dust to calm down, sleep over it sometimes, it helps. And come tomorrow with energy we will give some suggestions and hands-on practice on what you will do in order to transform that into practical steps. Thank you.